Hey folks, walk with me. Alex Honnold had another moment in the video that I described in my last Alex Honnold video. Quick recap there. Alex Honnold, you can grab the spelling of that from the title of this video. He did a free solo climb, not as solo, but he did a free solo climb with somebody, Norway's best climber, whose name is Magnus. And Magnus is not a free solo climber, which means he climbs with equipment like ropes. And Alex had him up climbing this cliff or mountain or whatever with no ropes. And at periods, Magnus was kind of stressed out, and Alex was talking him through it. And there was a moment in there that I thought was really interesting, that I thought was just great life advice. There was a moment where Magnus was stuck, and he really was searching for his next move, his next hold to grab onto to continue climbing, and he was really having a hard time finding something, and you could see it start to bubble up. You could see it start to really take its toll on him. And Alex said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, it's easy to let that stuff spiral out of control and really start to scare you. But if you really can't find your next best move, you can always back up 2 steps and look for a different path and take that route, because you know that the route that you took left you stuck, right? So you don't want to backtrack 2 steps, take the same path. And I just thought, you know what? I don't know if there's been any point in life where I have felt stuck and uncertain of my next move, where it occurred to me, hey, you can back this up 2 steps and go a different route, see where that lands you, and see if then there's a move to be made. I think I've always been so fixated on this idea of continuous movement, push forward, which is a very American feeling mindset. But there are very few things in life, probably almost none, that you couldn't back it up a couple of steps and try again, take a different path. And I think that's important to remember, that first of all, most things that are done can be undone. And if you're stuck and you don't know where your next move is, consider, what if I backed this up a few steps? What would that look like? Where would that be? And what would my options be from that sort of perspective or point? Because more often than not, when feeling stuck, I very much have that experience that Alex described of letting it spiral out of control and really freak you out. Right? If you thought you were freaked out before, just you wait until you start to go, oh my God, I don't have any way out of this. I've put myself in a position where there's no escape. And then that spiral, and that just really amplifies the fear quickly. So I thought I would snatch that one out. A lot of loud animals out here today. Some less domesticated than others in many ways. But I thought I would, snatch that out of the video and mention it here, because there were certain moments in that video where I just thought, you know what? He's talking about climbing, but he's talking beyond climbing. And that was one of them. If you want to try to find it, just type in Alex Honnold, Magnus. Look for the older video. They did a second follow-up video. I actually don't think I've watched that, so maybe it's good, but it's not going to be the video that I'm talking about here, is my point. and yeah, I think it has like 10 million views or something. It got a lot of views. But yeah, I mean, the setup is just great, right? This tremendous climber meets this other tremendous climber, but they do different things. And one of them is more sort of standard than the other, though he still is the best, right? Like in his country. And then he gets talked into doing this thing, and you see him get talked into it. You see him constantly like hashing it around in his head, trying to figure out, should I continue doing this? And you also see at some point he's like, well, I know that I'm beyond the point where I can turn around and down climb. And yeah, it's a really good video. It deserves every single one of those 10 million views. But that's what you should look up if you want to see the whole. It's only like 30-ish minutes. So he did a lot of good editing and clearly left in a bunch of gems. And so it's not a difficult or lengthy watch at all. And you don't have to be into climbing. I'm not into climbing. But it's interesting to see somebody do, or multiple people do, something really hard and challenging and something that they're excellent at, and stretching the bounds of their comfort and really sort of like putting their nerves to the test, if you will. So in that way, it's just an interesting moment of exploration of the human mind and capacity and abilities and all that jazz. All right, folks. Well, if you watched this far or walked along, I certainly appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video.